Hi, I'm Christopher Hein. Today we're going to talk about the Shomenuchi series and how all the techniques in the Shomenuchi series explain other problems that will happen from Shomenuchi. So when I talk about Heinz 57, I put the whole Shomenuchi series in there. So I think you need to know everything from Shomenuchi, because I think you could really probably just study the Shomenuchi series and come pretty close to understanding the basics of Aikido. There's a lot of stuff from the grabs and stuff that you wouldn't understand, and some Hadoki and stuff that you have problems with, but as far as just moving and applying technique and quickly getting things done, the Shomenuchi series is excellent. So I'm going to talk about that. I don't think we're going to be able to get the whole series done today, but I'm going to talk about how those kind of piecemeal out. We'll probably make 2 videos out of this. I'm going to get Josh over here. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so let's talk about how Shomenuchi sets up everything else, and all the forms in Shomenuchi are necessary for understanding a complete picture. So it took me a long time to understand this, and so I know I've talked about this before. Forgive me if you're sick of hearing me say this, but I think this is such a hard concept to get that I kind of keep talking about it. Look, Shomenuchi is basically what I'm going to do. If I was in a situation with Josh and I had a weapon in my hand and I wanted to get past Josh, I'm going to hit him as I go past him, right? That's what I'm going to do if I'm smart, because if I don't do that, he's just going to grab me, right? So if I don't do something as I go by, boom, Josh is going to grab me somehow, right? So everyone who loves to talk about a Timmy in Aikido, here's an example of how a Timmy sets up everything, right? Is I'm running, I'm going to hit him. Bang, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now, Josh is probably going to do what he just did there. He's going to bring those hands up. So as I hit him, bang, that is the Shomenuchi position, right? So it doesn't have to be like, right? So, you know, we see that in the forums, and that's a real clean way to show it and a good way to get beginners doing stuff, but that's not how it's going to appear. If you do live training and you're having some group of people try to get another person, that person will hit and move by like that. It'll happen, and the Shomenuchi position will come from that. Bang. All right. Now, from the Shomenuchi position, I really have 2 major ideas from this, right? I either am going to proceed through Irimi, right? So I'm just going to continue on my way Irimi, or I'm going to shoot a Sotomowari, right? Now, I could do other stuff, and the forums will talk about other things, but those are really my 2 primaries that I'm going to hit. Why would I hit those? Well, if I'm going this way anyways, so there's something over there I want to get to, then doing the Irimi really makes a ton of sense to continue on that way. If something's coming up behind me, someone's coming up behind me, or I need to change directions or whatever, the Sotomowari is going to make a ton of sense. And I think, you know, Sotomowari is something that we see in Aikido that a lot of people who do sport martial arts go, well, that's a stupid movement. Why do they practice that? Well, because sport people only have one person they're ever working on, right? So if you're in a situation where someone's coming behind you, you're going to have to do this kind of action all the time. Super useful to do that kind of action. All right, so those are going to be my 2 primary ideas from that. So let's talk first about the Sotomowari, because we get more classic Aikido techniques from the Sotomowari. From the Irimi, we pretty much get Irimi Nage, or a failure of Irimi, which leads to Sotomowari, and let me explain what I mean by that. If I'm trying to get behind Josh, and he starts turning, we're going to get in this speed race, right? So we just call that a race, not a speed race, but we're going to get in this race, right? If Josh is faster than me, he's going to get Irimi. If I'm faster than Josh, I'm going to get Irimi, right? So if I'm shooting Irimi and Josh starts turning with me, it's who's faster, right? Now, if I'm faster, I'd just push through and I'd get Irimi or Irimi Nage, but if he's faster, he's going to get behind me. So the Sotomowari is a trick to keep him from getting the Irimi position. The reason is because I can turn faster in a smaller space, right? So look, if Josh comes to my back right now, he's got to travel that far, okay? In order for me to keep my back away, all I have to do is turn this much, right? So I'm turning way less. So as Josh is coming to my back, if I turn this way, I'll get the Sotomowari before he gets the Irimi. And I made a whole video talking about this, what to do off of failed Irimi. I think it's on the YouTube videos, talking about that whole series. But the Shomenuchi appears a lot, or sorry, the Sotomowari appears a lot because of that reason. All right. Now, what are our go-to techniques? Well, our biggest Aikido go-to technique is probably the Kodagaishi. Now, that kind of makes sense if I have the weapon in my hand, because as he comes towards me, I control this hand and I attack him here, right? So that makes kind of a fair amount of sense that way. If he has the weapon, it makes a fair amount of sense. So meaning I'm running the hell by and he tries to hit me, boom, and I come in here. This gives me the disarm with Kotegaeshi, and we know that's a super viable technique because I just posted Maya doing it live. So it's totally a possible technique. It can totally come off. So there are reasons that can appear. When I get to the Sotomori position, if he's coming in, that Kotegaeshi happens and I can use the knife in this way. But I think something that people forget about is I can also cross strike this way, right? So I don't have to keep holding on to this if he doesn't have a weapon in it. I can just let go and hit him this way. So if Josh is trying to come around to me, just going here, boom, is a really, really good idea. Now that sets us up for all the kata manuchi stuff. Now I know I'm not in the kata manuchi position. As I come around, in essence, I'm in the kata manuchi position, right? So that gives us all the kata manuchi techniques from here, okay? What else it gives me from here, if he were to choose to grab this hand, is it gives me juji nage. Now, if he had the weapon, you can see that I'm here, and if he's coming around too fast, I could switch off, boom, and I get the juji nage. If I have the weapon and he hasn't grabbed me yet, and I come this way, he is going to grab me there, and I can grab this hand up, boom, and juji nage it. If I've switched hands when I hit him, which is not a bad idea because now I'm in a defended position. As I come to get him with this, if he grabs, I end up in the juji nage position. So juji nage off of Shomenuchi comes up all the time when we're hitting with the near side, right? So what I mean by that is I could hit with the far side, and I can also hit with the near side. So if I hit with the near side, we're going to get juji because that hand's naturally going to come to protect him, and he's in a crossed position. So juji nage will appear all the time from that. Okay, now in the Sotomori, and I think I can only do one more in this video because I've talked so much. But so I'm here in this position. Now, if Josh doesn't like this position, he's going to whip his arm around it like that. Now, when he does that, my initial reaction should always be to hit at the inside, right? So if I have an opening here, right? So there's an opening, and Josh comes around that, and now I have an opening here. I should always hit in that, and I should probably always hit and triangle. My hand's always going to go there for sure. I might me, but a lot of times I'm going to make a triangle in that. And this is just to keep him from getting me right away. So if he whips his hand around, my hand should be going in here. Now, if he doesn't like my hand in his face here, he could duck under it, right? And you see that in wrestling all the time. It's called the duck under. Now, if as he goes to do that, I pressure and turn, we get kaiten nage, right? So the kaiten nage happens because he came around my suppression here, I hit his face, and now he's trying to come around my face suppression, right? So my hand in the face, he's trying to come around that. And that gives us kaiten nage. So two techniques that might be to people like, well, how would juji nage ever appear? Well, how would kaiten nage ever appear? They appear really, really naturally. So understanding the full series of the Shomenuchi series is really important because it gives us explanations for every problem that will arise from the Shomenuchi position, whether I'm choosing to go irimi or whether I'm choosing to go sotomori. Either way, I'll get that. So I'm going to make another video because there's more, a lot more actually to talk. I might end up making 3 videos to talk about with this because there's a lot to go on here. But understanding how one technique leads into the other naturally is really, really important because that's actually how live martial arts come together. You're going to try something, they're going to try to stop it. Whatever they try to stop it with, you should have an immediate answer for. And that's what learning systematic martial arts is all about. So I'm Christopher Hines, Joshua Teehee, my Solana McDaniels behind that camera right there.